C.J. Stroud, and this man, all right, has really had a great season. And he has, first of all, he became the youngest quarterback in NFL history to win a playoff game yesterday, okay? And he surpassed my favorite athlete of all time, okay? Because my favorite athlete of all time was the guy who was the youngest quarterback to win a playoff game, and that was Michael Vick, okay? And Stroud, after yesterday, is the youngest ever to win a playoff game, and he really has had a phenomenal year. Okay, he led the NFL in passing yards per game. Okay, all right, and he actually led the NFL in touchdown interception ratio. Okay, because he did not throw that many interceptions. Okay, so all right, he was the first player. Okay, well the third player in NFL history to have a season where he led the NFL in passing yards per game, and he led the NFL in the best touchdown interception ratio. Okay, as a rookie, he did this. Okay, and the only other two guys to do that was Tom Brady in 2007. Okay, that was the year when I talked about last week where they played the Giants in the Super Bowl, and the Patriots were 16-0. Okay, I went through that last week. How the Giants and Patriots they met up in the last week of the regular season, as the Patriots were trying to go 16-0, and then they faced again a few weeks later in the Super Bowl, and the Giants bested them there. All right, Super Bowl 42, and the other time a quarterback in the NFL led the league in passing yards per game, as well as the best touchdown interception ratio was 1989 when the 49ers won their second consecutive Super Bowl. Okay? All right? So that's the kind of season that CJ Stroud has had. Okay? And I began this show talking about how there was, all right, a fallacy, all right, that has been proven wrong and proven to be a fallacy. And oh, here we go again, okay? Another topic where you will not hear anybody anywhere in the media bring it up, okay? Why? I don't know. Either they don't know this or they don't give a darn, okay? All right? One or the other. Either one is irresponsible and it's just an indictment on them, okay? But for so long, we had to hear, and I know the black quarterback, I don't want to, all right, I've spoken about this. I don't want to run you all onto the ground with this topic, okay? But again, this is a sub issue within the main issue, the black quarterback, the bias against the black quarterback, all right? And a lot of people want to act like, oh, there's no more biases with black quarterbacks because we see so many black quarterbacks in the NFL now. Well, of course, because there should have been a lot more from the beginning of the NFL, and they're very talented, so of course there are more, okay? But I said before, in order for a black quarterback in the NFL to get a chance, they got to be great, okay? Whether it was before they got to start in the NFL or in the NFL, they have to be outstanding to even get a shot, okay? If you're a mediocre black quarterback, it's really hard to get a shot, okay? But for so long, okay, there was a outstanding black quarterback at Ohio State University, which is where C.J. Stroud is from. And for years, all right, these talented black quarterbacks would not get a chance to play, all right? And we heard so many people in the media and fans, all right, who would say, oh, fans would hear what they hear in the media and they would be persuaded, like I said earlier, and they would agree with it. But for so long, people would say that Ohio State quarterbacks are not good enough to play in the NFL, that they have been bust in the NFL, and that, all right, you should not draft them because they can't play in the NFL. Like, that was what a lot of people said. Even a good friend of mine tried to tell me that like 2-3 years ago, the year Justin Fields was drafted, and me and him fell out about it because I was like, it's stupid, all right? All right? This is somebody who, all right, he acts like he is such a so much for the cause, and all right, he gets involved in all these political issues, okay, about people being oppressed, all right, black folks being oppressed and people of color being oppressed, all that. But then it comes to an issue like the black quarterback, and he is going along with all this BS about how the Ohio State quarterback cannot play in the NFL, which is nonsense, all right? So, all right, 3 years ago, before Justin Fields was drafted, okay, I just said simply, all right, because it was a question of who should be drafted first overall that year. Trevor Lawrence, who's a white quarterback, and Justin Fields, right, who's black. And I wrote an article about this. Okay, I don't have time to go through all that. But the point was that, all right, Justin Fields' numbers were just as good as Trevor Lawrence, okay? And he played against Trevor Lawrence, all right, their last 2 years in college, once in both times he faced in the college football Final Four. The first year, Justin Fields' team was up 16-0, okay? Completely in control of the game. And at 16-0, a defensive back on Ohio State, Justin Fields' team, hit Trevor Lawrence hard. It was a sack, okay? But because he hit him too hard, the referee threw a 15-yard penalty, and that completely changed the game. Gave Trevor Lawrence and his Clemson team a first down, and things changed after that. Clemson ended up winning the game. Okay, fine. Then the next year, the two quarterbacks faced again in the same round, okay? And Justin Fields, all right, Clemson, they are the favorites in that game, right? By 7 points. And Justin Fields, he breaks his ribs in that game, right? He comes back, all right, with broken ribs. He throws 6 touchdown passes, all right, 1 interception, and completely outplayed Trevor Lawrence, right? Completely. Ran him and his Clemson team, who were favored by 7 points, off the field, right? And my point was just going into that year's draft, okay, a few months later was, why is it not even a debate over who should be drafted first, okay? Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, okay? I said that it should at least be a debate. If you want to draft Trevor Lawrence first, fine. I thought that Justin Fields was the guy that should have been drafted first, all right? But I said if you want to draft Trevor Lawrence, fine, but it should at least be a debate, okay? And there was no debate. Everybody was talking about how, oh, no, Trevor Lawrence is hands down better and should be the first pick. So I thought that was ridiculous. And so you heard a lot at that time how, oh, Ohio State quarterbacks don't play well in the NFL, right? Heard a lot of that. And I wrote an article that year at that time talking about how it was not true and how really, and all these Ohio State quarterbacks who they were talking about were black, okay? All right, I'm going to go down the line, okay? You had Troy Smith, okay, who won the Heisman Trophy, all right? You had Braxton Miller, who was outstanding, okay? You had Terrell Pryor, all right, very talented, outstanding, okay? You had, J.T. Barrett, all right, Cardell Jones won a championship for them, okay? So many, all right? And I was, yeah, and so in this article, I laid out all their numbers, okay? It was talking about how these guys had the passing touchdowns because, that's what they like to say. All these guys can't pass, okay? They can't pass. The black quarterback has been, all right, putting that false, all right, narrative so often. Oh, they can't pass. All they do is run, right? Okay. But in this article, I went down all these quarterbacks who I just named from Ohio State and how they had the numbers, okay, had better numbers than a lot of quarterbacks who were picked in the draft, all right, and given a chance to play, okay, who were not black, all right, yada, yada, yada. So that really bothered me. And now, of course, CJ Stroud now is doing what he's doing, okay, or making everybody look like fools. And even though, okay, he was drafted high in the draft, okay, so he was not slept on, okay, but still that's what the narrative always was. And even, all right, someone like Dwayne Haskins, I don't want to get too deep into this, okay, but one point that I brought up at the time was how Dwayne Haskins, to me, if you bring up his name, people will talk about him, and he has since passed away. He passed away in a tragic accident on the road a couple years ago, and where he was ran out of gas. He was in Miami, and he was walking on the shoulder of the road, and a truck hit him. All right, it was terrible. But when he was still with us, all right, he was a a first round draft pick, and he at Ohio State threw 50 touchdown passes. All right, he had 1 year at Ohio State threw 50 touchdown passes. He, in fact, Joe Burrow and him competed for the starting job. All right, at Ohio State, and the coaches gave the job to Dwayne Haskins, and he went out and threw 50 touchdown passes in that 1 year. And Joe Burrow the next year at LSU won the Heisman Trophy, and he won the national championship. Right, uh, Dwayne Haskins. So I made the point that Haskins was drafted in the first round in 2019, and he did not get a big opportunity to play. People were talking about how like he can't play and all this, and I would just said, if you had Daniel Jones, all right, who was taken in the same draft as Dwayne Haskins, all right, who the Giants gave 3 years to before he even did anything. I mean, gave 4 years to before he did anything. His first 3 years, Daniel Jones did nothing. Okay, the team did nothing. All right, and he still got a fourth year. And Sam Darnold, okay, with the Jets, who was taken the year before Haskins and Jones in the 2018 draft, Sam Darnold was taken. Sam Darnold did nothing in New York for 3 years. Got 3 years to start, okay, him and Jones without having to look over their shoulder, okay, because their organizations knew they were young and said, you know what? We're not worried about, okay, immediate winning and all that. We want these quarterbacks to develop, and we want to give them a chance to be successful. So we're not, the Giants and Jets, okay, clearly their biggest focus was not, okay, wins and losses, and they allowed Jones and Sam Darnold to stay for all this time without doing anything. So I said that if Darnold and if Darnold and Jones was held to the same standard that Dwayne Haskins was, all right, who with Washington, okay, was given 13 starts, that's it, let alone 3-4 years to prove himself. If Jones and Sam Darnold had been held to the same standard, they would have been out of a job too, okay? Okay? And what you heard was that because we had a lot of quarterbacks, white quarterbacks from USC who have gotten chances to play and flopped, okay? And the USC quarterbacks records, all right, since Carson Palmer has come out in 2001, early 2000s, has not been good. And Carson Palmer was actually a good quarterback. He's probably been the best of all of them from USC. But you had so many who came after, who got chances. Matt Leinart, okay, Mark Sanchez, Matt Castle, Matt Barkley, Kessler, that is named Cody Kessler, Sam Darnold. Okay, you had so many, all right? And now we have the black quarterback from USC, who everyone is 11 and probably going to be the first pick in the draft, okay? But he's black. The other quarterbacks from USC have not been black, and they've gotten a chance to start, and they've not done well. So there's been a whole narrative, USC quarterbacks don't play well in the NFL. And it's interesting because they've all been white, but now the first black one, all right, since, all right, in the last 20 years or so, is now with USC. He's balling, and people are not scared off by him, okay? But, and like I said, there are some instances where black quarterbacks, okay, they get their opportunity now, okay, and teams are like, this guy can play. Because he's so great, we're not going to pass up on him. But there have been so many black quarterbacks who have been impressive as well, who never got a chance to play in the NFL, okay? And one of those guys is J.T. Barrett, okay? The same year that Sam Darnold was taken number 3 overall in the NFL draft by the Jets from USC, okay? J.T. Barrett was in the draft that same year, okay? His numbers were superior to Sam Darnold in every way, okay? And Sam Darnold, as I pointed out, okay, in this piece, he came into that season in the 2017 NFL season. I mean, in 2017 football season, Sam Darnold came in before he played a game. He came in with everybody saying, he has to be the first pick in the draft, right? And mind you now, that same year, going into that year, Lamar Jackson had just won the Heisman Trophy Award, okay, in 2016, okay, going into 2017. He's still in the NFL. I mean, he's still in college football. So Lamar Jackson is now who everybody's saying should be the first pick, all right, in this upcoming NFL draft. before they even play a game in 2017 in the fall, and the NFL draft is going to be that next spring, 2018. Okay, so Lamar tears up college football in 2016. Okay, now going into 2017, everyone is saying, "Oh, Sam Darnold, not Lamar Jackson. Sam Darnold is the best quarterback prospect, best NFL prospect, should be taken first, right?" Craziness, right? But not just him, okay? JT Barrett was slept on, okay? Because JT Barrett, his numbers were superior to Sam Darnold, like I said, in every way during their career, during that season, and in even the last football game, the last college game that Sam Darnold or JT Barrett played, they played each other in the bowl game. Okay? And go look at that game. Go look at those numbers, okay? JT Barrett outplayed Sam Darnold thoroughly in that game. Thoroughly. Sam Darnold also led the whole college football, okay? Or the Pac 12, his conference, one of them, in interceptions that year, okay? Had the most interceptions, okay? And he still gets drafted number 3 overall. And where does JT Barrett get drafted, folks? Does anybody know what JT Barrett, who had a superior career, season, and final game to Sam Darnold? Does anybody know where JT Barrett was drafted in the 2018 draft? He was not drafted, or he was not drafted at all. Okay, at all. And Sam Darnold, okay, who was inferior to JT Barrett in college football, okay, gets drafted 3rd overall, gets 3 years to start with the Jets and do nothing, but have excuses made for him. That's one thing too. With black quarterbacks, you don't hear people make excuses for them. Oh, the coaching is not good. Like, people were blaming the Jets coaching, okay? All right, for why Sam Darnold was not good, okay? And we've seen since then, all right, because after he had a 3 bad years with the Jets, he still had a team that wanted to give him a starting opportunity. He did with Carolina. He went there, did nothing, okay? Nothing, all right? And so we know that the whole, that he was bad with the Jets because of the poor coaching. We know that was just not true. It was an excuse that black quarterbacks don't get, okay? And like I said, JT Barrett was not even drafted, okay? And he's never even got a chance to make one start in the NFL. And Sam Darnold, okay, who had no business even being drafted ahead of JT Barrett, okay, got 4 years to start with the team. Got 3 years, his first 3 with the Jets, without even having to look over his shoulder. Oh, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Sam. Doesn't matter, Daniel Jones, if you win or not, okay? Because you're young, we're going to coddle you. We're going to give you every chance to succeed. And they still did not, okay? And JT Barrett, all right, who had better passing numbers, better running numbers, was not even drafted, was overlooked, never even got a chance to play one NFL game. So, all right, so this is what, and my last point I want to give you guys, all right, because sometimes when I start talking, I have so many things in my head, so many different avenues I can go, all right, so many different points that I want to point out, all right. Sometimes you don't want to get sidetracked, so I just want to bring one final thing to you all, okay? Because again, people always wanted to say how Ohio State quarterbacks couldn't play, and all right, they would say the same thing about these USC quarterbacks who really got a chance to start in NFL but did nothing, okay? So, USC quarterbacks, right? Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart, Matt Castle, Mark Sanchez, Matt Barkley, Kessler, and Sam Darnold, okay? Combined in the NFL, those guys had 410 starts, okay? 410. The quarterbacks that I was talking about, okay? Ohio State quarterbacks, Troy Smith, who won the Heisman Trophy, okay? And we've seen a lot of Heisman Trophy winners, okay? All right? The last 20 years come into the NFL and be fabulous, okay? All right? This is not the 1980s, 1990s where you had quarterbacks in college winning the Heisman Trophy and, all right, not doing much in the NFL or not really getting a chance or whatever. But this is like, okay, the The quarterbacks who have come into college football the last several years who have won Heisman's have been very good in the NFL. But, all right, Ohio State quarterbacks, okay, Troy Smith, Terrell Pryor, Braxton Miller, Cardell Jones, J.T. Barrett, all right, and Dwayne Haskins at the time, okay? Those Ohio State quarterbacks had only had a combined 31 starts compared to the 410 starts from the USC quarterbacks, who again, Carson Palmer, Matt Leonard, Matt Castle, Mark Sanchez, Matt Barkley, Kessler, and Sam Darnold, okay? So when you have a group of quarterbacks who have 410 career starts, okay, that's a huge sample size to be able to give a judgment on whether or not these group of quarterbacks from this school are bust or not, could play or not, okay? Even though, all right, I think it's overall the idea of, all right, labeling a quarterback from a school, even if you had other quarterbacks who were there previously and did not succeed in the NFL, I think it's unfair to still label the next guy, say, oh, because he plays at USC as quarterback, he won't be good in the NFL because these other quarterbacks, all right, before him weren't good. I think that narrative and idea is stupid to begin with. But this is what we hear in the media all the time. People are bringing it up. So they want to say USC and Ohio State quarterbacks cannot play in the NFL. But when you have 410 career starts from USC quarterbacks, all right, that's a lot. But to say Ohio State quarterbacks can't play in the NFL, all right, when they only had a combined 31 starts, okay, and what? All right, and like 13 of them was, from Haskins, who got 13 starts. That was it. To say they can't play in the NFL, they were bust. No, 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 no. That would be inaccurate, okay? They didn't get a chance, okay? Troy Smith got what, like maybe 6 games at most. He got 2 as a rookie with Baltimore when he was the backup to Joe Flacco. And then he got about 4 starts or so with San Francisco in 2010, I believe it was, under Mike Singletary. And he did some good things, but of course, they got rid of him and they gave another opportunity to Alex Smith, who Alex Smith is a quarterback who, if he's talked about right now, people have a lot of great things to say about Alex Smith, okay? A lot of great things. People like him. But Alex Smith is a quarterback who was picked #1 overall. And he was a complete bust. He went to Utah, is where he went to school. But I'm just saying, he was a white quarterback who was the #1 overall pick. Was a complete bust, okay? Got several opportunities to be a starting quarterback because we know that with the black quarterbacks, if they give you a chance, all right, and you don't win, okay, they're not giving you, all right, 3, 4, 5 years to still prove yourself. You're out of there. But Alex Smith, okay, he didn't have one good season, folks, until his 7th NFL season. His 7th NFL season, okay? And this is the guy who, when Troy Smith got a handful of starts with San Francisco, all right, of course, he was not getting any more of an opportunity than his 4 games he started or whatever. All right, no, because they were giving Alex Smith a 7th year to play. And finally, in year #7, Alex Smith had a solid season for the 49ers in 2011, all right, under Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh's first season, okay, as head coach in San Francisco. And then the next year, of course, kudos to Jim Harbaugh, because the next year, in the middle of the season, he set Alex Smith down for guess who? For Colin Kaepernick, all right? And Colin Kaepernick, with his skills, with his running ability, with his passing ability, he lifted the team to the Super Bowl, okay? And they lost there to Baltimore, okay? And, but, yes, okay? And, of course, all right, the Colin Kaepernick thing, okay, even before he had the whole thing with the kneeling and all that, they were trying to, all right, not give him an opportunity, even though he led a team to the Super Bowl, okay? He had a couple of years where his play fell off some. His coach left, and teams don't want to give him a chance, right? But I'm just saying, okay? For anybody to say that Ohio State quarterbacks, all right, cannot play because off of 31 combined starts, okay, is stupid, all right? The fact is that, all right, Terrell Pryor, he was someone who highly talented, okay, big recruit out of high school, Only chance he got to start in the NFL was with a bad Oakland Raiders team in 2013 it was, and at that time the Raiders had not been in the playoffs since 2002. So the Raiders had years and years and years of just being all right, the bottom of the barrel in the NFL. All right, just a franchise that all right was just had been run to the ground, did not know which way was which. All right, and it was just okay. I call the Giants an embarrassment now. Well, the Raiders were an embarrassment for years. All right, at that point. Okay, Braxton Miller, he had really good stats. All right, really good passing numbers. All these guys have good passing numbers. Okay, like people try to act like oh they can only run, they can't pass. Okay, Braxton Miller. Okay, he ended up changing positions at Ohio State because J.T. Barrett was so good. Like Braxton Miller got hurt his knee, and had to miss a year. And then J.T. Barrett, another very talented black quarterback, came in. So when Braxton Miller came back the next year, okay, he actually started playing wide receiver, but he was still his quarterback numbers were very good. He was a dual threat, could do it all. Never got a chance to be a quarterback. All right, and of course, uh, Cardell Jones he filled in for J.T. Barrett in the 2014 season. Okay, the first season that they had the bowl Final Four thing. Okay, and J.T. Barrett missed the Final Four. People thought, oh, okay, how these backup quarterback is in there. They're done, which is what you would think for most all right backup quarterbacks coming in. Okay, all right. I mentioned how 1990, as a Giants fan, seeing Phil Simms get hurt, all right, late in the year, and seeing Jeff Hostetler come in the backup. At the time, I thought, oh, the Giants are done. But it was similar with Cardell Jones, all right. But he came out okay in that Final Four in the 2014 Final Four, and they played Alabama, and he had a great game. All right, played very well in the championship, and Ohio State won the championship. Cardell Jones never got a chance to start in the NFL. All right, okay, he didn't have that many games started as a college quarterback. Okay, because the next year J.T. Barrett came back, and Cardell Jones and Barrett were battling for the starting spot, and then about week 8 during that season, Ohio State head coach Urban Meyer gave J.T. Barrett the permanent spot. But we have Matt Castle, who went to USC, did not play one game in college, not one game. And Matt Castle was starting for 2 NFL teams, okay? The Patriots, and he did a solid job, and so did Belichick, okay, as he retires this week, okay? And I got to get into him, too, before I go. All right, a great coach, all right? The all-time best coach in the NFL. The 1 year Tom Brady was out for the year, okay, 2008. Matt Castle came in, and Belichick's great coaching. The Patriots ended up going 11-5 with Matt Castle, who was not very good. And we know he was not very good because we saw Matt Castle after the Patriots and Belichick go to Kansas City, and he was a disaster, okay? And Matt Castle, again, never started one game in the NFL, in college football, not one. He sat behind Carson Palmer and then Matt Leinart, okay? Cardell Jones, at least, all right, starts some games, comes in and wins the national championship, all right, but he does not get one start ever his whole NFL existence, okay?